Welcome to Demolition Worker. Today we bring you the ultimate close-up experience of a massive hydraulic hammer destroying solid concrete. Listen closely to the pure industrial sounds of the heavy engine roaring and the powerful hydraulic system preparing for massive action. We are skipping the wide-angle shots today to focus entirely on the mesmerizing details of this incredible mechanical beast working. Observe the gigantic steel chisel as it slowly lowers toward the incredibly hard surface of the reinforced, pre-stressed concrete block. There is no distracting background music here, just the pure, authentic ASMR sounds of raw mechanical power dominating the construction site. Feel the intense vibration through the ground as the massive excavator positions its heavy mechanical arm directly over the targeted structure. The thick hydraulic hoses pulse with incredible pressure, delivering immense energy to the heavy hammer attachment waiting to strike the ground. Notice the weathered texture of the solid concrete block, which has stood strong for decades but is now facing total destruction. The sharp steel point of the hydraulic breaker rests gently against the rough gray surface, calculating the perfect angle for impact. A sudden burst of pressurized fluid rushes through the heavy steel valves, triggering the internal piston to launch the massive strike. The very first strike hits the solid concrete with a deafening metallic thud, sending a powerful shockwave through the entire structure. Watch closely in extreme slow motion as tiny microscopic fractures begin to appear around the immediate impact zone of the chisel. These tiny hairline fractures quickly spread outward like a complex spiderweb traveling across the dense gray surface of the solid block. The relentless hammer strikes again, driving the thick steel spike deeper into the stubborn material with absolutely devastating and unstoppable force. A thick cloud of fine white dust suddenly explodes from the deep impact crater, obscuring the sharp steel tip for a moment. The satisfying crunch of the brittle material failing under thousands of tons of pressure creates a truly relaxing ASMR audio experience. You can actually see the internal structure of the aggregate stones breaking apart as the overwhelming mechanical pressure forces them open. The heavy machine operator expertly adjusts the angle of the massive breaker to target the weakest structural point of the concrete. Another brutal series of rapid strikes echoes across the empty construction site, completely shattering the top layer of the stubborn foundation. Large, jagged chunks of broken gray debris begin to tumble down the steep sides of the massive block, hitting the ground. The raw power of the hydraulic system is truly mesmerizing to witness, as it effortlessly tears through the incredibly dense material. Deep inside the broken concrete, thick steel reinforcement bars are finally exposed to the bright sunlight after being hidden for years. The heavy steel chisel scrapes violently against the rusted iron rebar, creating a sharp metallic screech that cuts through the air. This is a fascinating journey into the hidden physics of modern construction materials, completely failing under extreme and focused mechanical stress. Every single strike delivers a massive payload of kinetic energy directly into the solid stone, turning it into loose, useless gravel. The slow-motion camera captures every single flying particle of crushed stone, dancing in the air before slowly falling back down. It is incredibly deeply satisfying to watch such a rigid and unyielding object completely surrender to the continuous pounding of steel. The rhythmic pounding of the hydraulic hammer creates a strangely hypnotic industrial beat that resonates deeply within your chest and mind. The heavy metal tip is now buried deep inside the fractured core of the massive concrete block, tearing it apart internally. Huge foundational cracks suddenly split the entire block completely in half, revealing the extremely rough and jagged interior of the structure. The massive mechanical arm pulls the heavy chisel out of the deep crack, preparing to deliver another devastating blow from above. Listen to the heavy diesel engine roaring loudly as it pumps more pressurized fluid into the thick black hoses for power. The heavy machine drops the steel breaker right into the open structural wound, forcing the two massive halves to separate completely. A spectacular avalanche of heavy gray rubble cascades down the sides of the broken foundation, creating a deeply satisfying crushing sound. The intricate network of rusted steel rebar is now the only thing holding the completely shattered pieces of heavy concrete together. The powerful hydraulic breaker easily bends the thick metal bars out of the way to reach the remaining solid gray chunks. We zoom in closely to observe the incredible friction generating intense heat right at the sharp point of the steel chisel. The raw, destructive force on display here is a perfect demonstration of advanced modern engineering conquering the toughest materials on Earth. Every falling piece of heavy debris adds a rich new layer of deep acoustic texture to this wonderful industrial ASMR symphony. The relentless pounding continues without any hesitation, slowly reducing the once mighty structural foundation into a flat pile of useless rubble. Watch the fascinating dynamic movement of the heavy hydraulic fluid pumping rapidly through the transparent indicator tubes of the massive machine. The sharp chisel strikes a particularly dense pocket of solid riverstone embedded deeply within the thick concrete, creating bright sparks. The extreme slow-motion footage reveals the beautiful, chaotic geometry of the completely shattered rock fragments bursting outward in all directions. The overwhelming mechanical pressure simply leaves no chance for the rigid material to survive as it crumbles into fine gray sand. It is incredibly relaxing to simply sit back and observe this highly systematic process of total structural demolition unfold right here. The heavy excavator tracks squeak loudly as the massive machine slightly repositions itself to gain a significantly better angle of attack. The bright yellow paint of the heavy mechanical arm provides a beautiful, striking contrast against the dull gray mountain of debris. Another powerful series of rapid impacts sends violent shockwaves rippling through the thick, dusty air of the busy industrial construction site. The sharp steel point penetrates the solid surface with frightening ease, leaving behind deep, circular craters in the completely ruined concrete. The satisfying visual of the rigid block turning into soft, loose gravel is an incredibly perfect way to relieve daily stress. The heavy metal piston inside the breaker moves back and forth hundreds of times per minute, delivering continuous and brutal punishment. A massive chunk of solid concrete suddenly breaks loose and crashes heavily onto the dusty ground, shaking the entire camera violently. The crisp sound of the heavy rock hitting the solid earth is captured perfectly by our high-quality ASMR microphone setup. You can clearly see the intricate layers of poured cement and crushed aggregate completely failing under the extreme and constant pressure. The heavy steel chisel is visibly scratched and worn down, proving just how incredibly hard this specific type of concrete is. The operator expertly uses the heavy side of the breaker to push the large broken chunks aside, clearing the work area. The deep rumbling sound of the massive diesel engine idles softly for a brief moment before roaring back into full power. The powerful machine targets a new, untouched section of the massive foundation, preparing to repeat the deeply satisfying process of destruction. The very first strike on this fresh section creates an incredibly loud bang that echoes endlessly across the empty industrial yard. Watch the fascinating web of deep cracks instantly materialize on the smooth gray surface like magic right before your very eyes. The thick cloud of fine silica dust slowly drifts across the bright blue sky, creating a highly dramatic and cinematic atmosphere. The heavy hydraulic breaker relentlessly pounds the solid material until there is absolutely nothing left but a completely flattened gravel surface. This close-up perspective allows us to fully appreciate the immense hidden forces that securely hold our modern urban world together. It also shows us exactly how easily those same powerful forces can be completely undone by superior mechanical engineering and physics. The thick metal spike drives deeper and deeper into the earth, completely pulverizing the last remaining pieces of the stubborn foundation. The satisfying crunching noises are incredibly sharp and clear, providing the ultimate audio experience for dedicated fans of heavy industrial ASMR. We capture every single detail of the destruction process, from the initial hairline fracture to the final complete collapse of stone. The heavy machine slowly lifts its massive mechanical head, revealing the total devastation it has just caused to the solid ground. The thick steel chisel is now incredibly hot to the touch after delivering thousands of high-energy impacts to the rock. The heavy excavator tracks slowly roll forward, crushing the smaller pieces of broken debris into even finer particles of gray dust. The raw mechanical power of this massive hydraulic beast is simply unmatched in the harsh and unforgiving world of heavy construction. The intricate dance between the skilled human human operator and the heavy steel machine is a truly beautiful and fascinating industrial ballet. The relentless pounding finally stops for a brief moment, allowing the thick cloud of gray dust to slowly settle down completely. The once mighty and unbreakable concrete foundation has been completely reduced to a harmless pile of small rocks and fine powder. The heavy machine operator carefully inspects the completely cleared area, ensuring that absolutely no solid pieces of the foundation remain intact. The powerful hydraulic system releases a loud hiss of compressed air, signaling the end of this incredibly intense and destructive phase. The heavy steel chisel gently rests on the ground, having successfully completed its extremely difficult and demanding task for the day. The deep satisfaction of watching such a chaotic and violent process result in a perfectly clean workspace is truly very unique. The crisp sound of the heavy diesel engine slowly powering down provides a peaceful and relaxing conclusion to the ASMR experience. The heavy industrial site is now completely quiet, allowing you to fully process the incredible display of mechanical power just witnessed. The beautiful sunset casts a warm golden glow over the massive pile of freshly crushed concrete, creating a highly cinematic scene. This incredible journey into the microscopic destruction of solid materials has shown us the true beauty hidden within heavy industrial work. The fascinating combination of extreme slow-motion visuals and pure high-quality ASMR audio creates a truly immersive and relaxing video. The massive hydraulic hammer stands tall and proud in the fading evening light, a true champion of the modern demolition world. The heavy machinery will soon be transported to another busy location, ready to conquer completely new and incredibly difficult structural challenges. We hope you have deeply enjoyed this intensely satisfying and highly detailed exploration of immense hydraulic power destroying incredibly hard concrete. The mesmerizing visuals of the completely shattered rocks and the deeply relaxing industrial sounds are perfectly designed to relieve your stress. Please remember to always appreciate the incredible engineering marvels that constantly work hard to shape and rebuild our modern urban environments. Thank you so much for joining us today on this incredibly unique and highly relaxing cinematic journey into heavy industrial demolition. This is Demolition Worker signing off for now, so stay tuned for more incredibly satisfying and powerful heavy machinery ASMR videos.